Sacramento ranks as one of the most polluted cities in the entire country.
And meteorologist Heather Waldman is here right now with what the data shows us.
Yeah, well, this is a result of the American Lung Association recently releasing its annual State of the Air report. The report uses EPA air quality data to highlight areas where ozone and particulate pollution may pose serious health risks. The group then uses that to advocate for policy changes. But what we need to note clearly is that the rankings in this report are based on air quality data from the years 2020 to 2022, so they do not reflect this year or last year. According to this year's report, Sacramento was the 7th most polluted U.S. city in both ozone pollution and particle pollution. 4 other California cities make the top 5. Out of 45 California counties with enough data, 41 received failing grades for short-term particle pollution exposures. By the ALA's method, if more than 1% of days have unhealthy pollution levels, that's a failure. So it's pretty high standard. Even a few days over a 3-year period could reach that failing threshold. Now, this satellite image is from August 20th of 2020, just 2 days after the August complex fire began, and you can see all the smoke filling the valleys of California. That would become California's largest wildfire in history, burning until mid-November. So no doubt that this fire put many of those counties into that failing category pretty quickly. Still, elected leaders are pushing for policies that can improve air quality long term. Mitigating the risk for some of these large wildfires and reducing emissions are 2 areas of focus. Congressman Josh Harder wants to regulate large ships coming into the port city of Stockton.
Well, we have made some really important bite-sized improvements. We still have a long way to go, but some of the things that we've been able to do are fund projects at the Stockton port to make sure that some of the really large boats that are coming in and out of Stockton actually are being better monitored.
So here's a look at how many acres burned in California wildfires during the 3 years that were highlighted by this year's State of the Air report. Clearly, 2020 stands out with over 4 million acres burned, but 2022 was a much quieter year. And it's also worth noting that last year was similarly quiet as far as the wildfire season goes, without much lingering smoke. So it'll be interesting to see how that impacts reports like this going into the future, knowing that there's that data lag.
Yeah. Right, and we know that wildfires are such a massive source of pollution in this area when they break out. So what's being done to mitigate that?
Right, so this is a long ongoing effort. Wildfires ignited by lightning, like the August complex fire, are a natural part of California's landscape, but the key here is limiting the size. So the key there is more proactive forest fire management. CAL FIRE and other agencies have been increasing efforts to thin out underbrush and maintain important fire breaks. Some of this is done with prescribed fire, which of course puts more smoke into the air, but the goal is that it's far less smoke than what a major wildfire could produce.
I was just thinking about how much smoke was in the air in 2021. Do you remember that?
And how long it lasted.
It was the worst.
Something we've not seen last year or even the year before, so hopefully future reports will reflect that.
Grateful for that. Yes. Heather, thank you.